Thank you, Aaron. That was a great warm-up, actually. That was really fun. And hello, and welcome to NatFun, a live-recorded tabletop role-playing adventure game where the dice and a few friends tell the story. My name is Jackie, and I am your game master tonight, and I'm joined by a few friends. So let's roll into some introductions.
My name's Jeremy, and once again, I will be playing Raceland.
My name's Dan, and tonight I will continue to play Eldrin.
My name's Erin, and I am Edwina.
Now, before we get started on the adventure, we do have some shoutouts. After each session, the players write down shoutouts to each other on our adventure Google Doc to highlight fun stuff that each other did in-game. It's a great way to support each other, mention cool character moments, and earn GM inspiration. So we're going to use a randomized spinner to pick a couple of shoutouts to feature tonight. The first one will grant the recipient GM inspiration, and the second will grant the person who posted it GM inspiration. And the first number is a mighty 1.
Haha, yay. So this is from me to Dan/Eldrin. I just want to say thank you for not outright refusing Edwina's pledge to take care of Eldrin, even though I know he's probably resistant. You've been adopted.
He got to sleep on it that night and make a decision that maybe it was in his best interest to have a little bit of that might behind him after watching her take on the Chimera, and he definitely would not have survived that encounter, so, you know.
Scary dog privilege.
Yeah.
I do feel, does Edwina have a little bit of like baby bird syndrome where like they hatch out and the first thing they look at is like, oh, you're mom.
Yeah. Did you ever read that book, Are You My Mother?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's Edwina.
Nice. Well, thank you, Erin. The second one is going to be number 6. So the tables have turned. This one is from Dan to Erin/Edwina.
All right. That's for when you were in Lala's and you decided to buy the peacock lapel pin. I wasn't sure where you were going with it. I thought it might have even been going to me at one point, so I was just trying to figure out what I would be doing with this thing. And then when I finally realized that you were giving it to Lord and Dario over there, then I was like, oh, this makes sense. That's perfect. So I thought that was great. Really had me kind of on the edge of my seat trying to figure out where you were going with it.
You must also be a peacock.
That was a fun moment. All right, well, thank you both. That's going to be a point of GM inspiration to Dan/Eldrin and a point of GM inspiration to Erin/Edwina. And with that, in our last episode of When Thunder Rolls, upon waking at the Raven's Foot Inn and Tavern, our semi-competent adventurers
SCA Squad
slowly came downstairs for breakfast, except for one. Roland did not come downstairs with his normal flourish. In fact, he did not come downstairs at all. He had left a note and some gold with Edwina that he had some personal matters to attend to and would likely need to leave town. The remaining group ate a relatively quiet meal, only briefly discussing the details of a job Raceland wanted to complete on their way to the Grand District, following a shipment. Seemed simple enough. After filling their bellies, they set off to Lala's to return their grand attire and recover their freshly cleaned belongings, as well as an opulent peacock pendant to be delivered to a special admirer. Then it was off to the docks. After just a few hours of waiting, they spotted their quarry. A wagon of unmarked goods with 3 scruffy henchmen slowly worked its way through the sprawling town of Astrante and the Grand District. The semi-competent adventurers,
SCA Squad.
SCA Squad.
thank you, followed and had to overcome livestock traffic, sign spinners, wagon-struck waterfowl, and pompous noblefolk. Only 2 made it all the way to the wagon's final destination, the north side of the Grand Manor. But what was on the cart, and where exactly was it going? Eldrin and Edwina escaped into the bushes under the guise of an afternoon rendezvous to find out. And it's here that we rejoin Edwina and Eldrin. Now, can you guys describe to me again kind of how you last left off and exactly where you guys were standing so I can properly describe what you see?
Edwina would have realized that she was about to be made and just, very spontaneous, grabbed the closest person, a stranger, and pulled them close and then kind of ducked behind the bushes as if there was going to be that magical rendezvous. She doesn't know this person, but they'll have a magical time.
And Eldrin, with that, what do you look like right now?
Oh, I gotta remember how to describe myself. Let's see.
Yeah, because you cast disguise self,
I
right?
did cast disguise self, but I don't fully
And then you
remember
rolled, like,
how I disguised myself.
Stupid crazy high on your stealth, so there's no way Edwina would have noticed that any of that happened. They were just a random dude, or who knows? I mean, you could be a random chick for all we know. You cast disguise self.
What was it? My hair got longer. My clothing, basically, I hid that alter into more of a nobleman's outfit. So I went from my, kind of worn up, beat up clothing to something that was a lot more refined and fitting of the area we're in, hopefully to avoid suspicion as well. And I don't know in terms of changing my face. I guess I would have made myself look older.
You did say that your hair was grayer.
There we go. So older. I'm glad teamwork here, remembering what I described like 3 days ago.
Nice. All right, so you guys are in the bushes. Edwina is like, dude, here, we're doing this. Eldrin knows what's up at this moment. And you can see those 3 henchmen. And they're... Let me pull up the map for you guys to show where you were.
While you're doing that, Edwina would be kind of like, shh, keep quiet. No. Just, and like trying to hush and like hold this noble next to her. Like, you're not supposed to make a noise. Just don't scream.
As far as the guards know, they just saw some large, muscular woman leap out of the bushes, grab an older man, and pull him into the bushes.
Maybe.
Possibly. They rolled pretty good on
that looks like a sex napping to me.
They rolled pretty good on the saving throws, and I gave Eldrin a chance to either try and fight off Edwina and let her get made, but salvage himself with his stealth check, or go in on the bit, and they rolled high enough to beat the passive perception. So the guy that kind of looked over ended up not really catching anything. He didn't quite turn his head far enough to see what happened. It's that moment where you think you see something out of the corner of your eye, but then when you go to look, there's obviously nothing there. They moved just fast enough to have that scenario happen.
But you know he's got to be thinking, good for that guy.
Lucky.
So there's 3 henchmen. There was the guy that was driving the cart. He was a little bit older. He had a full beard. He's the one that kind of flashed that little blue fabric at the gate to get through the perimeter of the Grand Manor. The other 2 was kind of a younger guy who was seated actually on the crates just behind the driver. He was the one that was a little bit mouthy about let's get a drink. Let's go. We got to do this. Oh, I should go do my offering. He kind of just always had something to say. Then there was the guy sitting on the back that was actually on the back of the wagon and kind of kicking his feet. He's the one that was really looking for you guys the most, and I believe he's the one that actually made Raceland. But they've all hopped off the wagon at this point, and they are kind of in this open grassy area. And you see that there's kind of like a circle of rocks next to the wagon. And they throw off the cloth that was kind of covering it was more like a tie-down situation that was covering most of the crates. They toss that off, and they start just slowly unloading crates and kind of chit-chatting amongst themselves and setting them down in this grassy area where there is, again, a circle of stones. It's probably a good 15-foot diameter circle. It doesn't have anything super fancy about it. But you do notice that the crates are fairly small. They're kind of, I describe them as a little bit bigger than a milk crate, but not like a giant 3x3 or 4x4 huge wooden crate that takes 2 people to carry. And the one that was driving the cart is kind of, he's a little bit more of a manager than a grunt worker. He's carrying the occasional one, but not as often as the other 2. They're kind of jib-jabbing at each other, and the youngest one, the kind of one that was mouthing off at the different locations during the actual chase that you guys did, kind of keeping up with the wagon, he starts kind of just turning to the other guy that was sitting on the back hey, so why are we unloading these in this circle? The other guy's just you wait. It's cool. Why is it cool? Oh, come on. Let's do 10 more crates and we'll show you. okay. Tries to ask the older guy that was driving the cart. He doesn't even respond. He's like, just get it done. And they get about 15 of these small crates stacked up in this circle. And the older guy goes, all right, you're going to want to stand back. Don't have your arm in there when it happens. What? Why not? Just do the job. Okay. And you can see the young guy gets a little bit nervous.
I'm getting nervous for him.
And the driver walks over to the wall, and he kind of looks at the wall, and he puts his hand on one of the stones and pushes it. Stone dragging on stone goes in to the wall, and then you watch as the rocks around those crates illuminate a faint blue glow. And as they start to glow, he says, watch this. And the other guy who had been sitting on the back pushes the younger guy into the circle. The stones light up. It almost looks like a spotlight of light blew into the sky, and he starts yelling, ah! And then the other two guys just start laughing because when the light dies down, all the crates are gone. And the guy's still just standing there. You guys are stupid. I can't believe you did that to me. This is my first job. I hate both of you. And they just are just riffing on each other and super, super pissy about it. But there's more crates to be unloaded because where the other crates were, there are now none. So they go back to the wagon, start unloading the rest of the crates. At this point, it's been quite a while. It's probably been a good, I'd say, 10 minutes or so. So I'm going to need another stealth check from both of you.
How far are we from this, by the way?
You're probably, I'd say, a good 30 feet away from the cart.
Yeah, okay.
Uh-oh.
So that's going to be a 13 for Edwina.
Okay.
And a 20 for Eldrin.
Eldrin's like, been good working with you, sucker.
Let me double check one quick thing. You're in luck, Edwina.
I'm in luck.
They did not notice your 13.
Oh,
You're good.
the relief.
Well, Eldrin will have elbowed Edwina or whatever and said, it's me, Eldrin. So that she knows, so that she stops clawing at him, trying to, hold her hand over his face or whatever so he doesn't make noise. Yeah.
What? I'm
We're
sorry, I
both on the
can't
same
hear
page.
you. There's something covering your mouth.
He'll stick up his gloved hand and shake it in her face.
Oh. Okay. She'll drop her hand and then pat his shoulders and make sure he's okay. Dusting him off.
So, Eldrin would actually like to cast Levitate on one of the crates and raise it up. I think I can go 20 feet. Levitate. Up to 20 feet, and then just drop it. So one of the ones in the middle of the circle to have it just kind of raise up and drop down to see if it breaks apart so we could see what's inside it.
Okay. Go ahead and give me a description of your levitate and if it has any limitations while I look up one quick thing on my reference chart.
All right. Well, it's limited by 500 pounds, which I assume these crates are not 500 pounds if two people are offloading them. And it's a creature or object of my choice within 60 feet.
Okay.
And I can only move it up or down. I can't move it sideways.
Yes. I am pulling up my reference chart because I have a handy dandy chart about material strength. So, 20 feet.
Yep.
That's going to be every 10 feet is a d6, I believe, for bludgeoning damage. So let's see if you can break the armor class of this item.
So 2d6?
Yeah.
All right, I will roll 2d6. Oh, good God, is a 1 and a 1.
The double
I'm going to go
nat
ahead and use
one.
my GM inspiration on this one right off the
Go
bat.
for it.
Double nat one
Holy
is rough.
cow.
Yeah, that's
All right, a 3 and a 3, so it's a 6.
A 6 is great, but does not fully break the hit points of the strength of the item which dropped. So the crate does raise up. They don't notice it right away. They turn back around. They put the crates back down, and you watch as the guy who'd been sitting on the back of the cart looks kind of like, you know, when you like are doing something in your house and you set something down and then you go to do something else and you go back and you set something in almost the exact same place, but you don't remember the time that you took the thing off of that location, and you're like, wait, wasn't there something? Did I walk over? No, I walked over. Huh. He has that whole thing play out right in front of you guys, where he like sets it on and then picks it up and then sets it on again. And as he's doing that, he picks it up and then whoosh, the crate falls down from above. And it actually turns over a little bit. And I will say you didn't break the hit points of the crate, but you do hear some glass clinking inside. You don't hear anything break, but you hear some glass clinking inside, and it kind of rolls off the pile. And he looks at his boss. He's like, what was that? I don't know what that was. Let's just get done and let's get out of here. Okay. And they like double time it, and they get the rest of the crates. And you watch as the driver of the cart actually pulls out that little cloth that they had used to kind of get in on the gate, and he pats his brow with it. And can I have both of you please roll a perception check for me?
With pleasure. That is going to be a 14 for Edwina.
Okay.
And a 14 for Eldrin.
Okay. So I thought it was kind of fun when I flashed that image for Roland, but then he had a real life time frame that he only had to look at it. So I'm going to flash an image to you guys. I'm going to share my screen in Discord because I can't turn it off in Roll20. So I'm going to share my screen in Discord. And based on the rolls that you guys did, you both are going to get only 3 seconds to look at this image. You just get a really quick passing glance because as he's patting his brow, you see his fingers kind of part, and you can see what looks like almost an embroidered image on it. And he pats his brow, but then his fingers cover it back up before you can really see it for very long. Okay. You guys ready?
Yes.
All right, here we go. 1, 2, 3.
Perfect. It worked.
Now I swear, if you just took a screenshot.
Did cross my mind.
So I don't know if I'm playing with Edwina's intelligence tonight or Aaron's intelligence tonight, but Edwina did not think of doing a screenshot.
I just saw Dan lean back and not do anything, and I was like, oh, that smooth criminal.
No, I did not
That
screenshot it.
actually works pretty well because I didn't click watch. So Raceland has no idea.
That's cool, because in a tabletop setting, you'd be able to just like hand a piece of paper and tell everyone like, okay, open it. You have 3 seconds and close it. So, all right, cool. Just trying to do different stuff. And as he's kind of patting his brow, the guy that was at the back of the wagon, hey, put that away. Oh, yeah. He tucks it back in his pocket. They get the rest of the crates in the circle, go up, push the stone in the wall. The stones in that circle on the ground illuminate blue. Light shines up. Poof. Crates disappear. A few seconds go by. Glows again. And then there is a small trunk in the middle of the circle. The driver points at it. The other two walk over, pick it up, and you can hear the sound of gold and coins. Not goldy. Gold coins. You can hear the sound of coins inside. And it's heavy. It takes 2 people to pick it up. They put it on the wagon. They both climb up. They put the cloth back over it. And they head off into the sunset and start rolling out.
They're coming out the way they came in. They're going to go by us.
They are going to go by you guys.
Do we fake make out?
That sounds really good. think you should do something like that. So what checks are you going to use here?
I think performance.
Go for performance.
And we're
Do
helping
it.
each other, right? Oh, that was a nat 20.
Oh, wow.
Nice.
And Eldrin also got a nat 20. There's some chemistry here.
2 nat 20s. You guys may have to run a pregnancy check after.
That is amazing.
If Lord Francis hears about this, the wedding's off.
As the cart goes by, the youngest of the bunch kind of smacks the chest of the driver. Look at those two. And the driver goes, good for them. They just keep on rolling.
Lucky.
They head along the road that's kind of along the perimeter of the stone wall that goes around the Grand Manor. I said it briefly earlier, but in the chase scene, we were getting to the end of our session time, so I didn't get to describe it in much detail. But you guys went in through the gates in that perimeter wall, and normally all the other times you've come to the Grand Manor, you just walk straight up to the front gates of the building, and you're there. This time, there's kind of like a road around the wall perimeter, and they were taking that. And they headed to the north, and then turned at the corner, and went back. So you guys are kind of in the northeastern side of the building, not quite all the way to the far back corner of the building. So the map image that you have, technically I'll flash on the screen for you guys. The gate is normally straight in from the road that you guys came to. But the cart went around to here, so it's actually near that back corner of the building. All right, so what are you two lovers doing?
Edwina's gonna crack an eye open and be like, oh, okay, they're gone. And kind of like push Eldrin the Noble away and like wipe her hand across her mouth.
Part of me wonders if because you both rolled nat 20s, if your performance check actually had some effect against each other too. I'll leave it up to you guys if you want to play that or not.
Outdoing it? No, this is how we do it.
Edwina's all of a sudden in a love triangle. Oh, Eldrin, when I said I had your back, I also meant I had your front.
Whoa. Hey now.
I'm gonna say that. All right, that's enough for right now. Let's go back and tell Raceland what's been going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, so head on out behind the cart. Give it time to head past us so they're not, getting too much of a look at us. And then when they're, out of sight, we can head on out.
All right, I want to cut to Raceland briefly. So you got made on the way to the Grand Manor, about 2/3 of the way through the Grand District. And I think you said that as soon as you kind of felt that you got made, you peeled off and you started walking the opposite direction on that road. But it's been a while. It's been a while. So where did Raceland go? Did you guys talk about a meetup point, or where would you have gone to wait out everybody coming back to you?
Oh, no, he just walked away long enough to make sure that he wasn't being chased down for having been made. And then he's going to sort of double back to where he lost them at and sort of nervously pace around, trying to be sort of inconspicuous, but also he's a little nervous that maybe they got caught as well.
All right, so back to Eldrin and Edwina. Eldrin, are you keeping your disguised self up? How long does that last for?
I believe it lasts, let's see, this guy's self, 1 hour. So I'm assuming we have 20 some minutes. I would keep it up until I'm out at Castle, not or out of the manor, just not having anyone be able to identify me in the space. No one will remember me. I could be a different person next time. So keeping my face as my face outside of here.
Sounds good. So you guys are able to kind of head back the way that you came, and you can leave the manor proper. You said that you waited a little bit for the cart to kind of get down the road and far enough away that they wouldn't see you at all. And you guys have no problem eventually making your way back the same path and running into Raceland, anxiously waiting your return.
Raceland, I made a new friend.
At this point, Eldrin will drop his disguise. Just say, she knows it's me. We did see where they brought the crates to. I tried to get a look in the crate. We weren't able to see inside, but it sounds like there's some form of glass inside, some glass jars or vials, something in there. And they basically traded them out for a large chest of gold. Or what we soon to be a large chest of gold. So, I did see the symbol that they use on the pass to get in. We could possibly try to get something similar made at Lala's and use it to gain access. So coming back here to discuss it with you, what your thoughts are on all this, what Fisher has in mind. Or we could just, raid the cart when it leaves the manor next time and walk off with all that gold.
I have 2 questions. One is, did you take a screenshot so that we can know what it looks like?
I drew a little thing. It's like a trident with the center going straight down, and then there are 2 lines coming off the pole at a diagonal. So I'll open up a sketchbook, and then he'll show his little sketch.
Edwina is gonna look at the sketch because she saw it too, and she's remembering how you're describing it is also similar to how Roland described his having a trident as well.
Yeah, it is.
It seems like it's an incomplete version of what was on the back of the Chimera's ear. We don't have Roland anymore to confirm that. But that's what he said it looked like.
That is what he said it looks like.
He showed us his sketch.
And if I remember right, I think a couple of you at least, when you were back at the town of Elkshire, you actually drew it in your own sketchbook too.
Mm-hmm.
So you guys would have that for reference.
Yes, we did.
Yeah, I have it somewhere
One
here.
of the differences is the lines came off in different directions instead, and I think there were 4 of them without looking at my sketchbook.
Yeah.
Well, and then there was the sun
only.
too. But so interesting how similar they are. Edwina's gonna kind of
That's
squint.
not a coincidence.
Yeah. Something strange is afoot. Oh, Raceland, we didn't tell you. When they were unloading the crates, they put them in a circle of rocks, and then they touched something on the side of the manor, and then the rocks glowed, and the crates disappeared. That's crazy, right?
Interesting.
They shoved one of the helpers into it, and they weren't transported with it, so it knows the difference between cargo and human.
That's unfortunate. I was going to say, it sounds like they're teleporting their cargo into the lab, but if that doesn't work on humans, then it's not very useful to us as far as getting us in.
Do you know what's on the north side of the manor? That's where they went. They went up around the back to the north of it.
Yeah, I'm not terribly familiar with the north side. But I think we can go get that symbol recreated at Lala's, like you said, and hopefully that will gain us some entry or at least some access that we didn't have in the past.
Well, we already got to pretty much where they were with our armbands. I mean, I'm always happy to go back and see Velma. Just saying, we're already here.
Well, that's a good point that I also hadn't thought of.
Do you want to see if... Well, do you want to talk with Fisher, or do you want to try to get further into here and see if we can show you where it happened?
Yeah, let's show him where it happened. And she's going to grab Raceland's right hand and Eldrin's left hand, and she's just going to start walking.
Well, I think that we're already farther along than Fisher and his people have gotten, so there's no real point in going back and seeing what he's going to think, because it would be completely new to him. I am curious, though, how did you guys keep from being caught?
We had a little rendezvous.
Changed my appearance. We jumped off trail and hid behind some shrubbery.
We had a
Shrubbery.
risque performance.
Bring me a shrubbery.
I like how Eldrin plays it off like, I just changed my appearance. And Edwina's like, we got it all.
Pretty accurate description of their characters' perspectives of the moment,
I
actually.
guess it is. I changed my appearance and then I was mauled. All right, well, let's go back to where you were. Show me what's going on here.
And Edwina will kind of be leading the charge, and if you guys don't struggle to get out of her grip, she will just hold your hands the whole time.
I think it's like the Wizard of Oz. We just kind of skip along beside Edwina.
Eldrin's definitely not skipping along.
He's doing these half.
He knows it just goes faster if you just go with her. Like, don't fight it. He's seen, what happened with Roland, and he's experienced it in the manor himself, so just go along. She'll let go eventually.
I think you've experienced some things that Roland never did. It's a whole
True. I see some eyebrows moving. You guys get partially drug along and then willingly walk behind all the way back to the Grand Manor. You're able to kind of walk around Grand Manor freely. They see your bands. You guys are good to go. And you're able to go around the corner right back to where you had seen the wagon unload.
Edwina's going to go right to the center of those rocks and kind of stand in them and gesture around. Raceland, these are the things that glowed. They put all the crates here, and she points down at her feet, and then he touched that wall, and then they glowed, and then the crates, no more. Not here. And then 10 seconds later, this big crate showed up, and we think that was the money. We heard coins. But we don't know if it was gold or silver or copper or fake money. We just don't know.
Just a chest of ball bearings. They're going to be so pissed when they get back to the tavern.
Well, there's no point in using detect magic because clearly there's something magical going on. And we know that whatever this teleportation is, it's not going to move us. What do you guys suggest here?
Maybe it didn't work on him because he's a boy.
Well, stand in the circle and I'm happy to press on the wall until we find the right spot.
Yeah, let's try it. And she's going to kind of gesture, go do the wall thing.
Raceland is going to go over to the wall and start pressing on bricks.
Roll an investigation check for me, please.
That would be... Oh. I was rolling that with disadvantage. That would be an 8.
I'll give you the 19 on that roll because you just had technically the first dice you rolled was a 19. So
You are technically correct.
I like being a nice GM. So you don't really know where they pushed the wall. You just start pushing on random bricks and kind of going a little bit high, a little bit low, a little to the left, a little to the right, kind of hoping for whatever. You lean on one side and just start kicking them with your toes at one point. And when you lean to the left, you feel one of the stones actually move a little bit underneath your hand.
Well, Raceland's going to push that stone and look over his shoulder while he's doing it to see what happens with Edwina.
You hear the stone on stone, push, and it goes into the wall about 4 inches. And as soon as you make contact and it doesn't push any further, you watch the stones themselves illuminate, and then a blue ring, and then light shoots up, and you see Edwina's silhouette inside. What are you doing as the light is actually shining, Edwina?
She's going to see that and get this big smile on her face because she's sure it's going to work. And then as it gets brighter, she's just going to cover her eyes and wait.
I pictured you doing some sort of a disco dance with the light show going on.
So, Eldrin and Raceland, you watch as blue light shines up into the sky and then dissipates. And Edwina, everything is dark. You don't hear anything. You don't even feel a breeze. Eldrin and Raceland, you see Edwina standing in the circle with her hands covering her eyes, making it dark.
All right, so Edwina standing in the circle, she's got her hands over her eyes, and she's going to just be like, okay, totally worked, and then she's going to, like, peek open her fingers. Aw. Wait, did it take you guys too? No, wait, we're still outside.
I was just hoping you were going to say that. Sorry.
Yeah, elders
That
are
was
like, oh,
Jeremy
didn't
saying
work.
that.
We can try to go see if we can find Sir Archibald Magistrate, Sam.
We could, but there's
He's supposed to be around.
one more thing I want to try.
I have a feeling that Archibald isn't going to give up anything willingly. So what is it that you would like to try?
Well, okay. I've seen both of you guys do things that, like, Roland could do, like these magic things, and I obviously can't do that. My superpower is hitting things and hitting them very hard. So I want to send something through that's obviously not me, but, like, do you guys have anything that, like, could tell us where it went?
And as you start this conversation, it's been hazy, it's been clammy, cool, foggy, just what I would personally call icky cold weather. Because I hate cold weather personally. But a light rain starts to fall over the course of you guys kind of trying to figure out how this circle of stones works. And Edwina, shortly after you say that, you hear off in the distance the roll of thunder. It's far off, but it was a lot.
Yeah, I'm not carrying anything that would be of any use.
I do have a length of rope. We could hold on to one end out here, leave the other end in the circle, hit the button, and see where we find the other part.
Oh, I like that plan. Maybe we can climb the rope in.
Elders is
I don't know
kind
how
of
that would
slack-jawed
work.
watching this all.
You're stunned at my brilliance, I know.
I feel like it would just be half a rope out here and half a rope wherever this other stuff goes. But
Pretty
we could
sure it's
certainly
just going
give
to
it
cut
a
the rope in
shot.
half.
We should see if it cuts the rope in half. That would be a good test. Let's do it.
All right. And Raceland
You
is
don't put
going
the
to
whole
hand
rope,
his...
put the end of the rope.
Say that again?
I said you could just use, a foot of rope. We could put part of the rope in the circle, not, all of it or half of it, so you don't cut your rope in half.
Well, that's probably a good idea.
All right, what you guys doing?
So Raceland is going to hand his rope over to Edwina and go back over since he knows which brick to press on.
Edwina will take, I'm assuming it's a 50-foot rope.
Yes.
Okay, so she's going to take that last foot, or one of the ends. She's going to tie a big knot in it, and then she's just going to kind of, like, gently lay that just inside the circle. So the knot and, like, maybe, like, 4 inches on either side are in the circle, but the rest of the rope is out.
All right. Well, Raceland's going to walk over and push it in 4 inches.
Yeah, he is.
Nickel.
Well, hello. It's Jeremy, and I just wanted to step away from the adventure for a second to ask you for a favor. If you are enjoying the podcast, please leave us a rating and a review, 5 stars preferably, wherever you may listen. And if you could tell a friend, that would be great too, because it helps us to grow. One more thing before we get back to the show. If you feel like you've gotten even $1's worth of value out of this podcast, feel free to swing by Patreon and subscribe there. No pressure. We're just happy to have you listening either way. And with that, let's roll back into the adventure.
Again, you hear stone on stone. The brick goes into the building itself. The stone circle lights up. Blue light shines up. Rope remains sitting in the ring.
Son of a...
So it didn't cut the rope. So if any part of it is outside the ring, then it doesn't work.
Right.
Or it just knows what the crates are. The crates could be
That could be.
specifically enchanted to respond to this gateway.
Maybe it's the contents of the crates that cause the reaction.
Yeah. Okay. I think you're right. The contents. What if inside the crate, because there's nothing on the outside of the crate, what if on the inside of the crate is that blue fabric with the thing that we saw? Hell, let's try it. And she's going to grab both of your hands again, and she's going to start walking away from the Grand Manor. And she's taking you to Lala's. Come on, Toto.
All right, well, we keep trying to figure this one out.
I'm honestly drawing a blank, so to Lala's it is.
You're able to head back through the Grand District, get back to the gates, walk back out into the town proper. The scene with the ducks is completely cleared at this point. You go around the fountain, turn the corner. There's the kid out there with 2 smaller signs that he's spinning and throwing in the air and flipping, and you go up to Lala's.
We're back.
Oh, great. You're back again. Cool.
Is Velma in?
Yeah, I think she's, I don't know, upstairs or somewhere. Do you want me to get her?
Yeah. And Edwina's going to nod vigorously.
Okay. At this point, I know I'm not portraying an Aubrey Plaza vibe, but you're getting a very Aubrey Plaza vibe from this person at the counter. She turns around, she walks into the back, and she rings a bell outside that doorway that has all the hanging beads that Velma came out of last time. Just one moment. Okay. The girl walks back up to the front desk. Yeah, she'll be here in a moment. Feel free to peruse the store. Yeah. And then you hear whoosh, the sound of beads, strings of beads hitting strings of beads, slamming into the wall as no one else besides Velma herself poses in the doorframe and then walks out to greet you. Ah, darlings, you're back. What can Velma do for you today?
What can't Velma do for us?
Oh, after you tell me, how was the ball? Did you tell Lord Indario to come and shop at Lala's? It's so great.
Even better, Velma. I sent him one of your peacock pins.
Oh, and she holds her hand out, grabs your hand. Do you let her grab your hand?
Yes, and I know I probably need to bend significantly over for her to take it.
That's why I asked. So she holds her hand up, you grab her hand, and then she just pats your hand. Oh, great, darling.
And Edwina's going to blush. She still has the pink combat boots on. She's just oh, I love Velma. She's the shortest person that I've ever met that I like.
Well, you're the tallest person that I've ever met that I like. No, just kidding. I like everyone that comes and buys things at Lala's. Don't take it personally.
Velma, Actually, Eldrin, why don't you tell her what we saw?
We need a piece of fabric made about this size, and I'll hold up his hand. I think it was handkerchief size, just something around that size.
Yes.
And we need this symbol. Hold up his little notepad, and it'll show the symbol of the trident with the two little lines coming off it, and say, we need a sample of fabric, or not sample fabric, we need a piece of fabric with this embroidered on it. Can you do that for us?
Of course, darling. I've never seen that before. What's that from?
We're not sure ourselves, but we're hoping to figure that out. What color would you say it was, Edwina? Since I'm not as adept with colors. It was blue, light blue, sky blue.
What color are Lord and Dario's eyes?
Oh, good lord.
In this instance, we'll say that they're a pale blue.
They're the same shade of blue as Lord and Dario's eyes. And she gets kind of mushy.
Ah, darling, you've been smitten, but I've never seen Lord and Dario, so that doesn't help me find the right palette. Here, I'll get a book of samples for you to look at. And she reaches under the counter and grabs like 3 big books and flops them all out. Which color, darling?
And she's gonna kind of draw her finger down the palette samples. Do you want me to roll a check here, or I'm just gonna say I picked the right color?
I'm gonna say because of your eagle eye, you got a real good look at the color. I'm gonna give you that one. You can find the color because you're also taking time to look through the book. I'm gonna let you have this one. You're good.
Okay, sweet. Yeah, that color right there, Velma. And it's the same shade as Lord and Dario's eyes.
Noted, darling. Wait here. I'll be back in 2 shakes of a lamb's tail. And she holds out her hand and looks at you, Eldrin. Book.
There you go. Hand it over.
She takes your sketchbook and quickly walks over up the stairs that you all went up to get fitted for the grand ball, and she's gone for like 5-6 minutes. You can hear a little bit of metal clinking up there, not too much. She comes back out. Done, darlings. Here you go, on the house. And she hands you back your sketchbook and a small piece of light blue fabric with that exact image embroidered on it.
Perfect. Now what?
I don't know. You came to me.
Yeah. Raceland?
Head back and see if we can put this to use.
Yeah, I think the key is going to be at that spot where they were teleporting things.
Ooh, that sounds interesting, darling.
I think you just hold on to this and step into the ring. I'll hit the button and we'll see what happens. That could be an all-night thing.
Yeah, it can.
All night long, all night.
All right, let's go back to where you can push 4 inches in, and
I like how we had this, like, let's try and be PG-13. Well, you know what? We walked past one open window and whoop, it all fell out just like Edwina did.
yeah, it did.
I mean, I'd say we're still well within that PG-13 rating. I don't believe innuendo.
There's just a lot of implications. Anyways.
You know what the kids these days are watching and saying.
I don't believe innuendo is counted in the rating system.
No?
All right. Well, bye, Velma. Thank you so much.
Thanks again, Velma.
Bye, darlings.
All right, Raceland, you want to lead the way or you want me to lead the way?
Well, Raceland's already started walking that direction, assuming that you guys were going to follow.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. We'll let you lead the way then. It's so nice to have someone who takes charge.
All right, Raceland. You step out and lead the way through the town, through the Grand District. Your armbands grant you access past the guards. They barely even bat an eye at you. You walk back through the Grand District, through the Grand Manor perimeter, back to that kind of side space where you had seen the Ring of Stones and the wagon. But this time when you get there, you don't see the stones. You see there's some stones, but they're not in a ring. There's just an occasional stone here and there.
Eldrin, are we in the right spot?
I think people are trying to cover their tracks here.
Either that or the pattern of the stones affects what happens when you press that button.
No, you want to go press it and see what happens?
Yeah. Yeah, go push it. She's going to kind of shove you in that direction.
Shit feels good.
So normally I would make you guys roll an investigation check or a history check to see where you are, but I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Aaron, you have something about being able to remember layouts and places that you've been. Can you just double check that for me?
Yep, it is the Wanderer feature of the Outlander background. Excellent memory for maps, and you can always recall the general layout of terrain, settlements, other features around you. It's kind of the gist.
Yep. So if anyone else would have said, yeah, this is totally where we are, I would have made you guys roll. But because Edwina was leading that, Edwina literally in her gut, just innately from her background, knows this is the spot, guys. So without too much difficulty, Raceland, you are able to find that stone again. Push it into the wall. Nothing seems to happen.
Well, since nothing happened, I'm going to assume we need to put these stones back in the same positions they had been in last time. Do you guys remember the position they were in last time?
I bet Edwina would be good at moving stones around. Do you remember where they were, Edwina?
Yeah. And she's going to just start picking up rocks and putting them in a circle. Kind of getting as close as she can remember to that exact circle.
If I can have you, Edwina, roll a d8 for me, please.
That would be a 5.
Okay. You spend a little bit of time kind of looking around and trying to find some stones, and you only find about 5 stones in the general area. And you remember there were a lot more than 5 that made up this circle. It was like 10 feet wide. You're going to have to devote some time to tracking down enough stones to make a circle here.
I think after she finds the 5th stone, it's kind of like, okay, stones don't grow legs and walk away. So either these aren't the same stones, or something really big came through here, because we were only gone for like maybe half an hour. Like,
Yeah, and I don't think they would
I
have
don't know.
thrown them out of reach if
Yeah.
this is something they use often.
She's gonna start pacing, and she's got this like really intense look on her face because she's thinking really hard.
Is there anything else in the area that we can see that might give us some sort of clue as to what the hell is going on here?
You can roll a perception check.
Don't mind if I do. That's going to be a 16.
So you look at the wall, you don't notice any markings. Now that you've pressed that particular stone a couple of times, you can see there's like a very small, teeny tiny gap that you know is there, which is why you notice it. You don't see any marks anywhere else on the wall. You kind of, I guess I'm giving you more of an investigation description than perception, but you look out into the greenery that is between, the wall of Grand Manor and the perimeter wall of the building where the road is, and it's open green space. There's a cluster of trees and bushes to your left, which is, as Edwina and Eldrin can recall, that's where you guys were hiding. And it's mainly just open space. There's a couple little stones and random things here and there. There's some small wildflowers occasionally growing in the grass, but you don't see anything extremely unnatural in your general look around.
Any thoughts, Eldrin? Because I am kind of at a loss here.
I mean, either going to see Sam, trying to talk to some of the guards around here, but I think that'll just end up drawing more attention than we want. And talking to Fisher, that's the only things I could think that would potentially give us some more insight as what we should do next.
All right. Edwina's going to stop her pacing. Lord and Dario gave us these blue wristbands and said we should talk to Sam, and you guys have both said we should talk to Sam. So I think maybe we just talk to Sam. We just don't tell him about what we saw back here, or what we did.
Sounds good.
I think that seems like the most direct path.
We head back down to the front of the manor through the front entry.
Mm-hmm.
No problem. You head back that way. You actually drag the token. You actually pass a couple of guards that were walking the perimeter. You just hadn't seen them at any point up to this point because you didn't really hang out in that space very long any of the times that you've been there. They see your armbands, give you a nod, make it up to the main entrance. So this is the grand entrance. The big circular room with a spiral staircase. Not spiral staircase, the two rounded staircases on either side of the room. You walk in and you see there's a few servants walking around here and there. One of them notices you. Can I help you?
Do you know where Sam is? Archibald Magistrate? Do you know where Archibald Magistrate might be found?
Oh, yes. That is in the West Wing of Knowledge, which is actually to the north. But, anyways, Lord and Dario, do you have permission to go there? Do you have a meeting or something?
Oh, we have this. And Edwina's just going to hold up her arm with the band on it.
Oh, okay. Head down that west wing and then turn to the north and you'll see a guard at the top of the stairs and they'll give you further instructions.
Perfect. Thank you.
And Raceland is going to start headed that way.
You guys are able to walk no problem. And I realize now that because I'm terrible with a sense of direction and maps, that what I've been describing as the west side of the manor is technically the north side of the manor up to this point. So when I described like you had your trials in the west side, it's because it was the left, but really the manor was turned 90 degrees. So sorry for that. You walk down the hallway and you are able to follow the servant's directions. You make that turn and you see that there's kind of a stone archway and a guard standing there. He's younger. His armor's kind of a little bit ill-fitting. Scrawny guy.
Raceland's just going to hold up his armband and keep walking like he owns the joint.
Oh, okay. Do any of the other ones of you have the armband thingies? I've been posted here because a lot of people were frustrated to walk all the way down there and then the guards tell them to come back up. It's a lot of stairs.
Yeah, Eldrin will show his off. He's got it on his arm in plain sight.
Edwina is going to take a second and kind of stare at this kid. Does she recognize him from the north gate?
You totally do.
Like the north entrance?
Yeah, this is the guy that gave you and Roland your coins when you first arrived at Estrante.
Hey! And she's going to like wave at him. I know you.
Oh, yeah. How'd you do?
We're doing the thing.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, we even killed a chimera.
No way.
Yeah. Hey, you keep up at this guard thing and maybe one day you can be part of the SCA Squad too.
SCA Squad.
Oh, that sounds so cool.
I know, right?
Come on, Edwina, let's get going.
Oh, yeah. All right. Well, bye, kid. We'll see you later.
Bye, big scary lady. And you start walking down some stone steps. And more stone steps. And more stone steps. And it feels like more and more and more, and it gets darker and drabber and darker and drabber as you continue down the steps. Now, I did see your question that you threw into the chat there, Aaron. Did you want to throw it out into the ether for those that are listening?
When we came technically the night before. It was day 2 of 3 for the festivities, so I was curious if they were still going on.
Seems like they've been suspended for some reason. But you guys saw a huge group of nobles angrily leaving after the livestock situation happened.
They were going to the after party.
Yeah, on Ruby River, right?
Did not seem like there were any festivities going on as you walked through.
And Beatrice wasn't there to greet us. Something strange is afoot.
You get attacked by the entertainment, it'll do it.
That's fair.
So you continue down these stairs, and I will switch your backdrop because I have some images for this in a different folder.
Raceland is going to look over at the other two and say, I'm starting to understand why the kid said that people got frustrated with this walk.
You finally get to the bottom of the stone steps, and it's kind of just a plain, boring, long stone hallway. No banners, tapestries, or art, just plain stone walls. Slightly curved hallway. It almost has that feeling like it doesn't end because it curves just enough that you can't really see all that far down the hallway itself.
Is there more than one way to go, or is it only the one direction that we can walk in?
There is a small waiting room. So when you get to the bottom of the stairs, if you turn left, there's kind of a small waiting room. Not even waiting room. There's like a small area with like a bench and a torch. You see 2 guards sitting there that stand up. Oh, do you have your armbands?
So,
Yeah, Raceland will flash his armband.
Edwina does the same.
I feel like Raceland at this point, with how confident you are, you don't just flash it, you like take it and stretch it out and like snap it back on your arm like, yeah.
I think Raceland's getting frustrated with not being productive. So is more short and just kind of, yeah. Which way is Archibald Magistrate?
Follow the hole that way. There's only one way to go. It'll be through the double doors. And they sit back down, and you see they had kind of tucked some cards underneath them when you guys arrived, and they pull the cards back out and go back to playing cards with each other. So as you guys start to walk down this hallway, it does curve, and you can see probably a good 20, 30 feet ahead of you. And eventually it gets to the point, it feels like you've been walking for just a couple minutes. It doesn't feel like it's that long. It does get to the point where you can kind of see far up ahead, there is double wooden doors and what looks like some glowing orbs on either side of those doors. And you start to hear a sound behind you. And it sounds like footsteps, small and quick.
Marching order for this, Edwina would have positioned herself at the back.
sounds good. Eldrin in the middle. Assume Raceland's kind of been leading the way through this part as it is.
Yep. She would have been just like, after she got stuck kind of talking to the kid up at the top of the stairs, is just like, I'm in the back now.
This is where I live.
Yep. When she hears that footstep, kind of want to get like a vibe. So like a perception check, but like what kind of vibe are the footsteps giving off? Like, I'm in a rush because I'm running from something, or I'm in a rush because I need to stop these people from getting to the door?
I would say you can turn since you're in the back and make a perception check.
Okay. That is going to be a 14.
Is that like the only number that we're going to roll today? Because that's a lot of 14s.
It is a lot of 14s. I feel like that's our sweet spot.
The dice are strange today.
A little bit.
Yeah, they wouldn't tell a boring story.
So when you look back, with a 14, you hear these footsteps and they're getting closer and closer. And because of the curve, you can't quite see the person right away. But it does just sound like fast-paced, not heavy. They're very light footsteps. And as you continue to look, you're able to see, because you have ridiculously good eyesight, you're able to see what looks like a small human girl or woman, and slight build. Again, because you have such good eyesight, you'll essentially see this person before anybody else will. But they're kind of running. They've got their head down. They're like trying to throw something over their shoulders, and they have dirty blonde hair, slightly wavy. It's kind of flowing in the breeze generated from their running. And they're kind of, again, putting like their arm in a loose sleeve, and they're holding something in their hand. And as they get a little bit closer, they look up at you, and you're able to see that they have bright blue eyes and a large mole on her left cheek. And I would say they're very similar in appearance to Hermione, to give you kind of like a visual reference of what they would look like. And you can hear them saying, "Oh no, oh no, oh no, I can't be late again."
Oh, hey. Edwina's going to kind of wave.
Oh, you were the ones. And she doesn't really slow down that much. She kind of slows down as she gets close to you guys, because it is a small hallway. You were there last night. You helped. Oh, thank you. And she finally gets her arm through the like coat that she was trying to get her arm in, and she pulls a little piece of light blue, almost like a circular fabric out of her pocket. And at this point, she has kind of caught up with you, Edwina, and is starting to pass Eldrin and Raceland, who would have had a chance to see her at this point.
Whoa. And Edwina, as she goes to go past her, Edwina's going to just stop her in her tracks.
Oh, no, I can't be late. I'm already late. Please let me go.
Late for
And she starts trying to like duck underneath your arm and around you. She does not want to break her gait.
All right, that's a grapple. She needs to break a 23.
All right, she's not going to break a 23. No, please. I can't be late again.
Okay, I won't let anything bad happen to you, I promise. But we need to talk to Sam.
The office is that way. Please let me go.
Okay, but can you get us in?
Your bands get you in. Please let me go.
Okay. Edwina's going to take her hands off her. But we do need to talk to Sam, so...
She keeps running.
It's fine. We'll find him. Don't worry.
Yeah, but it's always nice when somebody like makes an introduction for you. Like Roland used to do that all the time.
You see, as she makes a break for those double doors, she takes that piece of circular fabric, and it's like a little blue circular cap, and she puts it on her head and tucks her blonde hair up in it. And as she gets about 10 feet away from the door, you hear a raven. And she calls out, "Oh, shut up, Edgar. I know. And so does everyone else now. You're the worst." And she gets up to the door, opens it, tries to slide inside, not even opening the door fully.
Let's keep going.
Yeah. Raceland was kind of dumbstruck for a second there watching this little kid run past, and now he's like, yeah, let's go. Back to it.
You keep walking, and you get close to the door, and you can hear that raven just doing his thing, and you can actually hear a male voice from the other side of the door. "Late again, I see, Priestess Alondra. And what is it this time?"
And she's a priestess. Well, Raceland is going to keep walking and walk through the door. Wow. Push the door open and walk in.
Yeah, Eldrin will follow right behind.
Yeah, we're right behind. Edwina is fascinated with Edgar, though. She kind of like stares up at him as they're like walking by his little perch.
And it's a perch that's kind of built into the wooden frame of the doors. And as you start to kind of go underneath him, he leans down and looks at you, and then cocks his head to the side and just watches you with one eyeball. And like flips it the other way and is like totally checking you out because you're looking at him, so he's looking at you.
If we have time, and she's going to say this to Eldrin, if we have time on our way out of here, I want to do something with that bird. Don't let me forget.
All right, you can do whatever you want. Let's focus on the task right now.
Okay.
And Raceland, you open the door and you can hear the girl, I'm sorry, that's not good enough.
Hey, Edwina's gonna stop his talking. She's late because of me. I stopped her and I was asking her questions.
I can speak with you in a moment. And he kind of holds his hand up towards you and he goes and turns back to her. What is your allegiance to these unintelligent believers? Sir Archival Magistrate, they've always been kind to me. They took me in when my parents died, and their teachings have some merit. Their offerings have quelled the storms in this region until late. And you notice, and I'll describe this space to you guys now, because you are in here. You're focusing on them, but the image that you see is much smaller than the actual scale of this room. I just couldn't find a good image to represent it. This is a flavor image. So it is a large stone room, but it's lined with bookcases and different books, scrolls, all sorts of stuff. There's a couple of large desks on the perimeter, and it's almost an L-shaped room that is overall square. So you can't quite see around the corner, but you see there is a door at the back with another similar stone archway that looks like it has a circular staircase, because you can see kind of how that wall curves. And as she's kind of talking back to Sir Archival Magistrate, you watch as a young half-elf boy in kind of a light blue robe with a similar cap, short cropped black hair, and a thin goatee, very Doctor Strange vibes, but more teenage boy facial hair level, comes into the room from a stairwell in the back. And he's kind of carrying a box with some parchments and some other stuff in it. And let me check one thing. So Edwina doesn't notice this, but Eldrin, you notice that as that young half-elf boy walks through the archway, the gem in the archway at the very top, there is a gem at the very top of that stone archway, glows as he walks through it. And Raceland, you're the only one that notices, in addition to that, there is a small blue gem on his cap that he's wearing that illuminates as well when he walks through that archway. This is all kind of, he walks in as she's talking about her family, the merit, the offerings. And then Sir Archival Magistrate, ha! Control the weather with offerings. Rodney, have you ever heard of such nonsense? The half-elf boy looks at him directly, back straight, and responds, Such nonsense has no place being uttered in a place of research in arcane science, Sir Archival Magistrate. Miss Alondra, if you would devote your time and your mind to your studies of the true arcane arts instead of the unfounded, fanciful beliefs of a pagan deity, you could have at least a sliver of a chance of achieving any true worth. Well, sir, if perhaps our stipend were raised to cover food and lodgings, I might not have to. And you can see she's kind of wringing her hands. Oh, so you think asking for more coin is the proper response? You know how important our work is. And then he hesitates for a second. To Lord Indario? How dare you? Ugh, we have guests. You may take your leave. We will continue this discussion later. Husbandry and behavioral assessments on all the subjects from yesterday. But sir, Rodney already concluded morning rounds. Did I stutter, girl? I thought I was perfectly clear. Or do you still have that day-rock rabble poisoning your ears? Now go! Yes, Magistrate. And she scuffles off, goes around the corner, grabs a couple of things, and heads down that staircase.
I feel like Archibald Magistrate's about to get smacked by Edwina.
Yeah, you guys better be holding Edwina back.
As she kind of scutters off, Sir Archival Magistrate, gives a heavy sigh, raises his shoulders very tensely, and then relaxes them, puts his fingers together and kind of keeps the points together and lowers his hands in front of his chest with his eyes closed, turns to you, opens them again, and you can get a clearer look of him now. So let's see. Eldrin didn't see him. Raceland has seen him, and I think Edwina noticed him in your trials. This is an older male elf, tall and thin. Long robes, blue in color, kind of a deep blue. No other signs or markings on his clothing. He has green eyes, and he has long hair pulled back into a thin ponytail. He's wearing a small cap covering just the top of his head, with a small gem mounted inside a gold circle. And he has no facial hair.
Raceland is going to look at him and say, I would have expected that an elf would put a little more emphasis, a little more stock in magic. Are you not someone who believes in that?
Hello. I am Sir Archival Magistrate. I have great belief in the arcane arts. It's the pagan religious ones I think are a fallacy. But apologies for the terse conversation. Shaping young minds is not always an easy task, and various degrees of encouragement and pressure are sometimes needed to mold them. What may I do for you?
Well, I would like to recommend to you that you watch how you speak to your young minds before I have to stop someone from reshaping your mind physically.
That has been noted. Did you have questions for me or just threats? I have lots of work and the guards are just down the hall.
Oh, I don't have any threats. I feel like that's more of a promise, but I'm sure, yeah, we do have some questions for you.
Well, those bans mean I have to answer them. I am Sir Archival Magistrate, head researcher for the Grand Manor of Astrante, on retainer for Lord Andario. We oversee the research of, well, just about everything in the regions of Astrante, and Lord Andario's imagination can think up.
Okay.
I know you were all there last night with the Counicorn. Thank you for your assistance as we got the situation underhand.
What exactly are you guys doing down here? Because it seems to be more what you are interested in and less what Lord Andario is interested in, considering that I don't think Lord Andario has the mental wherewithal to come up with some of these things that you seem to be working on.
As I said, I'm on retainer from Lord Andario. I've worked throughout the realm as apprentices to libraries and apothecaries mostly. I tried to join Lord Philip Andario's researchers in the past, but not a lot of room for openings in such unique work. I was able to secure a position and join the research. I'm fascinated by creatures and the arcane arts and biology and all of those things, and Lord Andario is overly fascinated by them as well. He keeps us quite busy. Again, you saw the Counicorn.
And it was majestic.
That's what he asked for, and that's what he said.
I was going to ask, how are you keeping these creatures confined? Because we were sent to dispatch with one of them up north just a few days ago, and it seemed to be one that Rayson over here recognized from dropping it off a while ago, I guess years ago, when it was just a small chimera.
Yes, I got word from Lord Andario that you found the chimera. I'm sure you know by now, being his... What did he call you again?
The SCA Squad.
SCA Squad.
SCA Squad. Yes. the SCA Squad. So, the collection, which was his father's, are all in individual arcane enclosures that have all of their requirements. Temperature, environment, food, terrain, whatever they could possibly need is provided. And there are barriers to keep them in, but ultimately the goal is to have everything provided so they have no desire to leave that territory, which allows us to do our research. And Lord Francis wished to add to the work his father had done, which is highly regarded among libraries across the realm. But, yes, some creatures have gotten out, and we've been trying to get a list of everything. We've concluded most of our inventory. Fortunately, many stayed within the collection, but unfortunately, some were consumed in that process of natural proclivity.
So you're saying Edwina's gonna kind of like pause, and she does not like this guy. You screwed up, and things got out, and they ate each other and could be eating people.
And are most certainly eating livestock.
Yeah, definitely.
I did not say that, but we do have an inventory, we believe. We don't know how or why they got out, but we had 6 griffins had escaped. 2 have been recovered. The others likely flew to the mountain range to the north. We have scouts looking for them now. There was a unicorn that was found deceased with claw marks and fire burns. Now that the chimera has been accounted for, we had assumed that had taken care of the unicorn. There was a giant crocodile recovered. A remoraz got out, but it was found deceased in the forest. A couple days later, the environment was not cold enough for it to sustain itself. There were 3 missing treants. They were injured and required lifelong assisted care, but they are native to this area, and so there's no immediate reason for concern, as they are naturally wildly occurring here. I can't remember them all. Lord Andario's selection of heroes and the Grand Ball have been occupying an abnormally large amount of my time.
Raceland?
I'm drawing a blank here as to where to even go with this.
And you hear Rodney kind of pops back from around the corner. Magistrate, for you. And he kind of takes before he had a crate with like some scrolls and things like that in it. He has a similar crate and he kind of lifts it up briefly, and Sarkville Magistrate says, just a moment, I'll be right back. He walks over, kind of takes a look at it, lifts a kind of deep red fabric that was covering what was in there, nods his head, puts it back down, comes back over towards you. If I can have everyone roll a perception check for me that would have been watching that versus if you were using this time to discuss amongst yourselves in this private moment where he is out of earshot what you want to do. And you have to think about what your character would have done in that moment.
She doesn't like him. She doesn't trust him. She's watching him.
Okay.
I think Eldrin's going to watch. He's not... Like, same thing. He doesn't trust this guy. Or even necessarily believe his story.
Yeah. Anybody who talks to their subordinate like that, Edwina is not a fan of. So she's watching him like a hawk. And that is going to be a 17 for Edwina.
Nice.
20 for Eldrin.
And nat
24.
20.
Nat 20.
Yeah, not just a 20.
Sorry, nat 20 for 24.
18 for Raceland. He's kind of feeling the same way, like he can handle most other things that might come their way, but he wants to keep an eye on this guy. Just, he's the thing that he's not sure about in the room, I guess.
All right, so Eldrin, you will see there is a image that's going to show up at the top of your journal tab.
Okay.
With a nat 20, you are able to spot that, and it is burned into your memory. You are watching it like a hawk, and bam, you can see that. You can reference that whenever you would like. For everybody else, I'm going to do the share screen trick again. But you guys rolled really, really good. So, both Edwina and Racelyn, you guys are going to get to look at it for 5 seconds. And if you need to recall it, I will give you guys each a history check opportunity to recall it in the future, one time if you so wish.
Okay.
Go ahead and click the share stream or watch stream.
Oh my goodness gracious.
1, 2, 3, 4,
4.5.
5.
4 3/4.
It's gone.
Okay.
Since you were all watching over that way and not talking amongst yourselves, you hear Sam. I call him Sam because Sir Archival Magistrate is SAM. So that's my short, so I don't have to write it every time in my notes. Sorry. Sir Archival Magistrate says, I didn't order anything. We weren't expecting a delivery. And Rodney responds, deadpan. Sir Magistrate, you ordered more arcane components and ink for our research. You had me take the requisition form to Nessie 2 weeks ago. Sir Archival Magistrate. Oh, yes. Must have slipped my mind. Thank you, Rodney.
Yeah, Rodney.
And he puts the cloth back down and kind of walks back over. Now, for our listeners, let's see. I'll have Racelyn and Edwina, you guys describe what you saw first. And then Eldrin, because it's burned into your mind, you can describe it last if it needs any changes. Embroidered on this deep red fabric that was just kind of covering whatever was in the crate.
Raceland saw that deep red fabric and embroidered in gold would be sort of the, I guess, stick figure equivalent of a sun coming up, meaning just a half circle line with 5 rays coming off of it, sort of evenly spaced there. And underneath that would be not quite the opposite. It was a curved line that curved in the opposite direction, so almost in the shape that would be a circle if the lines actually connected, but they don't. And in the middle of the circle on the bottom are 3 lines coming up, straight up. So they're not mirror images, but very similar and very different at the same time. I don't know how else to describe that.
Yep. Eldrin?
All right, so there's it's not, it's an arch at the top. It's not a half circle, it's probably like a quarter circle stretched out wide. To give you a better idea of it's a wide arch with the 5 short lines coming off the top of it equally spaced, like Jeremy had said. And then beneath it is a wide, almost bowl shape. Let's say a bowl where it kind of is almost vertical on the edges and then makes a sharp turn to being flat at the bottom. And then the 3 lines coming up from it, the center line is a little fatter and taller than the other 2 on each side of it.
Yep.
Yep, good buddy. So Archival Magistrate turns around, starts walking back towards you, and you see that Alondra comes back through that stairwell archway in the back, and she's carrying like bowls and bags and a crate and like all this stuff. It's kind of blocking her view, and she kind of tries to turn left, but it's right as Rodney's turning right, and so she bumps into him. and the crate tips, and out tumble a couple of like glowing rocks and some glass jars, and one of them shatters and just this gray thick liquid kind of oozes out a little bit. And Sir Archival Magistrate, "You stupid girl! I'm sorry. You know what? I have a lot going on today, and I'm sorry. Your questions seem a little bit more like an interrogation than questions. Can you please return later?"
Wait,
Alondra, escort them out. Rodney,
Sir-
clean that up. And he turns around, and Alondra, in this split second, Alondra sets her things down and hurriedly walks towards you guys, and she kind of puts her hands out very calmly, but kind of trying like an ushering out motion.
Edwina's going to stand her ground because she has a very important question to ask. So Alondra can push as much as she wants. She's not going to budge Edwina. Sir Archival Magistrate, is there anyone else in this manor who can do your job?
Oh, shit.
As you start talking, Alondra reaches down and tries to grab your hand. And when she does that, what's your passive perception?
It is a 9.
Okay. She rolled real bad. She rolled a 2 on her sleight of hand check. So she kind of grabs your hand and tries to give you a piece of paper. And instead, it falls out. And she goes, "Oh no!" And Sir Archival Magistrate turns around. "Excuse me? Miss Alondra, what is that? You know that our research notes stay here unless we publish. Give me that." And on that note, I could see your face of frustration.
This is about to get complicated.
We're going to end tonight's session.
Sam gets to live one more night.
I knew just by the question what her thought process was. Is there a reason that we shouldn't kill this dude?
Yeah, if nobody stops her, there is going to be... Yeah, next time, I might take over and be like, all right, everybody roll initiative because this is happening one way or another.
It's going down.
You can either be along for the ride or part of the ride.
Oh, snap. Either way, you're kind of along for the ride.
That's fair.
Oh,
We'll have to see what happens next time.
I was thinking, as I described, the image we're seeing is like you could, have that be a challenge for people, listeners. Like, go draw the symbol we described to you, and then they could post it, and we could just see what people, how close they are. That would be kind of a funny thing to have people try to do.
It would be.
On the
That'd be
next episode of...
Well, thank you guys. That was a fun session. Bit of a cliffhanger for poor Edwina. But until next time.
We hope you can find yourself a table.
Or a computer and some friends.
So you can roll into your own NatFun.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.
Adios, suckers.
Okay, so I talked into this glowing crystal here. This feels so informal, but if Lord Dario requires I have a dating life to have a proper +1 for his events, so be it. Hi, I'm Sir Archival Magistrate, brilliant researcher and master of the cross-study of natural biology and the arcane mysteries that surround us. But that's not all there is to me, oh no. I have a plan. Big plans. To publish research papers to the greatest libraries of our realm, travel the world, and dance to the beat of my heart, or someone else's if I could ever find them. I enjoy a cup of tea with 2 sugars, curling up with a good book on a rainy afternoon. And I'm almost embarrassed to say it, but I love listening to naturally fun adventures and stories, so much that I tell all my friends about them. I even leave ratings and reviews wherever I can. I subscribe to them on Patreon. They have exclusive audio content and more. Some of it's even free. You should really explore it if you haven't yet. Sorry. I'll admit, I can be consumed by my work at times, and although I have green eyes as deep as emeralds, my stern brow line and serious tone often leaves people with a bad impression. But I'm not really a bad guy, am I? All right, done. So, how long does it take for me to get a match with this service? And no religious zealots, right? Oh, you'll find me. I don't need to look for you. Okay.